We're live. Let's do this.
All right.
Episode 81.
81.
81. We're getting up there. Well, our episodes are. 81. Right. Guys, welcome to another episode of the SoFlo Sports Show. It's your host, 305 Sports Babe, co-host Miami Lou. And before we get into sports, obviously this is why we talk. There are bigger things in life than sports, and sometimes we fail to recognize that. Our state of Florida was just hit about 24 hours ago with a massive hurricane, Hurricane Milton.
Yeah.
Us in South Florida were, for the most part, spared what it could have been. Our friends in Sarasota, St. Pete, Tampa did not luck out the way we did. And there's catastrophic damage just 3 hours from us.
Yeah, and it's tough to watch all the footage that's come in earlier throughout the day. And just very sad. As you mentioned, the whole Bay Area, Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater got hit hard, and over the Bay, Siesta Key,
some of
Sarasota.
Our favorite places in the States.
Yeah, great places that we've gone to see spring training games and spent some great times on the beach there.
Yeah.
And you feel bad because they also got hit during Helene just 2 weeks ago. So just tough to see that. It's heartbreaking. Glad to see a lot of our friends, people who communicate, our Dolphins family. Everybody seems to be okay.
And our regular family too.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And so we were glad to know that all those people out on the West Coast where all this took place of Florida made it through all right. And the property damage or whatnot, a lot of people won't be able to see that for the next couple of days. The governor advised for people not to hit the roads. There's obviously debris. People are jumping into these flooded waters, and there's alligators and snakes possibly in them. So, yeah, just we're not going to know the full damage until a couple of days.
Not. Now, what was unique about this storm, this Hurricane Milton, is that it obviously came from the Gulf of Mexico, strengthened, especially when it tipped Cancun, and it crossed the state. And usually hurricanes do not do that. They usually, either touch the coast or, make their way a different path. I was actually in a hurricane in 2004, Hurricane Matthew, that took the same path where it started on the West Coast in Tampa, crossed Orlando, and then we were with my grandparents in Daytona, and it strengthened in Daytona. So it is a rare path that these storms do take when they start from the west and cross the east. But you remember, it's that I-4 corridor, and there's so much life there. You figure it's one of the biggest tourism places, obviously with Disney, and then Tampa and Daytona itself. So we are fine here in South Florida. An interesting thing about this storm is that it produced tornadoes, and Florida is not prone to tornadic activity. But there was a tornado that hit Vero Beach, which is about an hour and a half from us.
Yeah.
And they actually 4 people actually died in that tornado alone.
4 people passed away. Yeah, and it's crazy the amount of they documented. It was 122. I mean, the numbers out just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
122. Doesn't mean they all formed, but there was 122 documented tornado occurrences.
Tornadic activity.
Tornadic activity in 24 hours. Due to the storm, and that's just it's hard to wrap your head around that. And with tornadoes, of course, not unlike hurricanes, you don't get a warning, and so it's just crazy that took
And then
place.
One of the tornadoes that happened the other day with this storm happened right in west of Fort Lauderdale, where we were just the day before that. Hit on the 75 corridor by Weston, and this one was on Alligator Alley on 75, and this was a monster one. And people who own airboat companies, they saw it and everything, and traffic coming in. So it looks like all is past. And obviously what Lou said before, that, our state is obviously assessing damage and seeing, where to go. But it definitely is looking like most of the damage happened in Sarasota, St. Pete, Siesta Key. Minimal damage in Orlando, what we're showing. Disney prepared fine, and then obviously picked up in Daytona, where we're seeing damage as well. One place that we have gone together, we've had great times together, that got hit hard was Tropicana Field.
Yes,
where the Tampa Bay Rays play.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. We've seen a couple games there. We were last there 2 years ago.
The playoffs.
For the playoffs, Boston Red Sox and the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. And so we've been to that stadium a couple times. Mm-hmm. I've been previous to that with my buddies.
Same, yeah.
I went with my brother once. It's
my father, my brother,
4.5 hour drive from Miami, and it's an awesome ballpark. I mean, it's one of the older ones, obviously, and they're getting a new ballpark as well. So, but their roof is iconic. It's a kind of a translucent roof that
it's like paper mache. Let's just be
yeah, I mean,
real.
obviously it didn't hold up.
Yeah.
But it's the way it's shaped. The stadium is up, and then it's curved, so the roof is like kind of slanted, if you will.
Yeah.
And it's got the catwalks that go around, leading up to the exterior of the roof and the lights. And they light up that roof before games, after wins. They light it up in orange because of Tropicana Field, Tropicana orange juice. Right. So, yeah, it was sad to see that. I mean, the roof got completely shredded and torn off. And like I said, the lights and the catwalk are attached to that roof. So I would guess to venture that, you know, a lot of that is gone and
yeah.
permanently damaged. So not sure how they're going to fix that. I think you got some pictures that you're going to show.
Yeah, but in a second, before I get into that, what was interesting about Tropicana Field is that it was actually assigned as a shelter where
Yes.
they were sheltering first responders and essential workers like people who do the electric and the power. And they saw like strong cells approaching that because the storm actually took more of a north approach. So Sarasota still got hit really hard, but it could have got a lot worse. So this northern approach actually hit, you know, the area of Tropicana Field worse. So they evacuated the shelter, which obviously you never want to see happen because that's just a disaster in itself. And so when Tropicana Field got hit with these crazy winds, there was nobody really sheltering in place there, which could have been really, really bad because the roof didn't collapse in, but there's a lot of debris. So just a lot going on.
Yeah, I think the number was, they said that 110, the roof could sustain 110 miles per hour winds, but they were obviously anticipating stronger winds than that, and that's what ended up happening. And so don't show that one first, show that one last if you haven't done so already. But yeah, they wanted to make sure that that's not the case. And so, I don't know, did you put it up or no? Did it show up?
I was trying to. Give me a second.
So yeah, they pretty much cleared everybody out there. Thank goodness, because not only did the roof fly off, but things fell down, as you can see in these pictures. Is this up already? Can you see it?
Yeah.
So the roof is completely torn off. There's just one panel that's left there. Everything else just got torn off, and then a lot of it fell onto the field where these people would have been, getting ready to perform their duties after the storm. This is what the roof normally looks like. And as I mentioned, there's those catwalks upstairs where the lights are off, but that's a great picture. You see there that, like I said, the catwalks hold up different levels. Ironically enough, during some balls have hit those catwalks. There you are before the playoff game. Great shot of the roof. It's a very, when you're there and you look up, it stands out. Not a lot of roofs in stadiums are built like this anymore. They're retractable or are set up differently, but yeah, you can see the difference there. And then somebody posted this. This is obviously AI generated, but some people said that it's not going to be possible or feasible to repair the lights and refix this roof. So a lot of people suggested that this person, whoever posted this, suggested that the roof just be cut off altogether and have it set up for baseball games during the day, which I don't know if that'll fly in Florida heat. How you can do 81 home games during the day. That'd be crazy.
Obviously, rain delays on top of that.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of
which the roof prevents. This reminds me also of another venue that had a similar type roof, and that's Minnesota. Mm-hmm. So the old Metrodome, where the Vikings played and the Minnesota Twins played, they had a kind of a roof like that as well. And they had an issue where they had too much snow one time, and it collapsed the roof. So much snow fell one brutal cold winter that it just sunk the roof, and so they had to end up playing at the University of Minnesota for a year until their new stadium was built. And I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's too early to tell. And obviously, this is a sports show, so we're giving a sports angle for a pretty famous venue down here that's hosted a World Series before. It hosted a Final Four, but I just don't know how they're going to be able to play baseball there in about 4 months. I mean, baseball season's already it's still going on right now in the playoffs. We'll get to that later, but for that thing to be ready by March after seeing those pictures, I don't know if that's going to be possible.
Yeah, and as we kind of close up talking about this storm, one thing that you and I both learned this morning while watching the news is there is an amazing nonprofit group out there called the Gray Bull Rescue Foundation.
Yes,
and we were just taken back what they do is these men and women who most of them are former military and law enforcement, some of them aren't. It's a nonprofit group where they go into areas where first responders cannot go into, or they choose not to go into, or it just doesn't seem feasible. And this group, they rescue people in these hard to get to places, and it's totally donor funded. And
awesome.
They rescued like these people. This house was on fire, and they got to them on a boat. And just so shout out to the Gray Bull Foundation, Rescue Foundation, an amazing group of men and women who
they were also in Israel rescuing some Americans, obviously with all going on over there with war, and so some Americans have been held hostage and or having a hard time getting out of there, and they've lent their efforts towards that as well, to rescuing Americans. It's a cause basically that tries to help any American motivated situation that needs help or can't get expedited help from the powers that be, and they step in. And as you mentioned, there's sometimes where a fire chief or police chief, and rightfully so, no one's putting the blame. Sometimes you have to secure structures or whatnot, but these people just this organization just pretty much takes matters into their own hands, and they say, no, we're going to risk our lives essentially to go in and get people out of a home that's collapsing or has been flooded, and you don't know if there's down power lines. I mentioned earlier it could be alligators or snakes in those waters, not to mention bacteria and everything that lurks in there. So no doubt, shout out to those people.
We decided that on behalf of both of us as a couple, we will be making a donation on behalf of the Dominguez Party of Two. So we will be doing that. And we'll be also sharing the link for anybody who wants to match that donation or support as well, because we are really moved by that.
Yeah, no, we really were. And then also, this is something also on the flip side of this, unfortunately, this is happening. There's a lot of people out there doing bad things, right? So we saw that interview, and we know it's a reputable organization, but there's a lot of people that are unfortunately and sickly, if you will, taking advantage of people during this time, whether it's price gouging or giving false information as to links where people think money is being donated to worthy causes and then it's going elsewhere. So just horrible things. And those people, I don't normally wish ill will on anybody, but karma will catch up to you eventually. And anybody doing those kind of activities, shame on you, number one. And two, you're going to get what you have coming to you, because that's just deplorable and just awful to even think of.
I also saw there was this, somebody started this rumor of this another storm brewing, which is totally not true. I mean, knock on wood, there is nothing out there. There was like a disturbance, which is all the way in Africa, which is a 20% of, but somebody posted a picture of Helene from 2 weeks ago and said, this is another storm coming. So even when you do that to cause fear in people is just terrible.
I'll tell you, this AI thing is getting out of control, because you're, putting things that are not happening and making them as if they were real. And it's leading to all kinds of like rumors craziness and rumors.
Anyway, so again, thoughts and prayers to people of our state who are dealing with catastrophic, unimaginable devastation right now. We are good in South Florida, Miami area. A few tornadic activity was in our area, but we just got really bad wind. So do not waste your thoughts and prayers on us per se. We are good.
Yeah, we're good down here.
We are fine, which is ironic because usually it's people think Miami with hurricanes.
Yeah.
All right. So
definitely. Thoughts, just echo your sentiment there. Thoughts and prayers to all those who were in the path. And, it's going to be a long road to recovery here, and so hopefully people can take their time and do right by all those people that are in need at this time.
Definitely. So we're already at Thursday, which is wild. This week is just flying by. Next week at this time, we will be at Miami Airport getting ready to board a plane, heading to Indianapolis.
Back on the road.
Back on the road again.
We barely unpacked from
our luggage. Our one luggage is still filled. We're just avoiding that one big bag right there. But next week at this time, we will be en route to Indianapolis, Indiana, as our Dolphins take on the Indianapolis Colts. So we're excited about that. But the Dolphins are coming off a win. We did have a big win on Sunday.
Let's celebrate this win before we get to our next.
I know. I'm already looking for it. I'm like, let's do this, because the win on Sunday was not pretty. It was one of the ugliest games of football I've ever seen in my whole entire life. It was something out of like the Bad News Bears plus Pee-wee football plus just like satanicness, right? It was just, but it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, we won, and that's what we need. We need more wins than losses, obviously. And although we are still below 500, we're like a game out of first place.
Yeah, no doubt. And big game coming up on Monday night. We'll talk about that in a moment here. That's going to determine where exactly we are when next we take the field. But look, we broke a 3-game losing streak, right? We won our first game against Jacksonville. By the way, that was not a close game. And
our first game on the road, too.
Yeah, first game won on the road. And so you break a 3-game winning streak, you get back on a win column. You got to feel streak. Yep, you gotta feel good about yourself, and that's where we're at right now. You take the win all day. It wasn't pretty, as you mentioned.
Terrible.
A lot of miscues. We had a punt blocked against us. We missed 2 field goals. One straight up doink up off the upright
and there
by
was
Sanders.
No wind either.
Right, and then the other one was a botched snap where we couldn't get the snap down for Sanders to take that field goal attempt. Aaron Brewer threw a ball over Tyler Huntley's head that lost 20 yards on the play and prevented us from attempting another field goal. And then Tyler Huntley also had an interception that set the Patriots up for what turned out to be their only touchdown. But just so many miscues in the game. But at the end of the day, you take that win all day.
It was such an ugly game. I know, we watched it here at the comfort of our home. It was just like, come on, man. Like, obviously we had Snoop versus Jacoby Brissett. Right. Jacoby is the more seasoned quarterback, right? I mean, he's played with more teams and everything. But at the end of the day, these are not 2 guys that should be in the starting quarterback position. And we were able to scrap it up and to get a win out of Gillette. Who was your play of the game? Who really stuck out to you?
So I'll get to that in a moment. I just want to do like a quick recap here because look, the Dolphins, obviously you take the win all day, right? Yeah. But it was not a pretty game. You're talking about going back to last week. We both predicted them to lose the game, by the way. We both said that the Dolphins need to show us something. And by something, we mean score touchdowns.
Yeah.
They've gone now, their last 13 quarters with just 2 touchdowns, one against the Titans and then, on Monday night, and then finally broke through here in the fourth quarter. But yeah, no, we were trailing at the half 7-3.
Yeah.
A lifeless second half. All the things that we talked about happened in that first half. We couldn't do anything correct. Finally, in the second half, we showed signs of life, particularly by running the football, right? We were able to have success running the football, and we were able to move the ball downfield. We scored 2 field goals in the third quarter, and we're trailing 10-9. And finally, we're able to punch that ball in the end zone thanks to Alec Ingold on a nice drive. Huntley had some nice throws in that drive, and the rushing attack just really gave us a chance there. So, highlighted obviously by, I think, a guy that you're going to mention, and you asked me who my player of the game was, and I'll get to that. But you got to highlight 3 guys on that rushing attack. Mostert, the veteran, the rookie Jalen Wright, who stepped up big, and Alec Ingold, who scored the touchdown 3 yards out, who finally gave us that lead, the elusive first lead of our season. And so, yeah, it was an amazing second half as opposed to a horrible first half.
I'll tell you one thing that's really interesting, especially this year, is that I feel that our coaching has very little faith in Braxton Berrios, in the sense that, he's obviously back in the backfield to catch these kicks. And the goal is to try to obviously get as many yards forward as possible to, restart.
Set your team up and get your good
offense
chance.
Ready to go.
Right.
And it seems like he's just catching and taking a kneel. I mean, if you don't trust him to at least get 10, 15, 20 yards, then what are you doing back there? You can get anybody I can go back there and catch a punt like that. So the fact that they're not trusting or giving Braxton the green light to actually go for some runs, it's I don't know why they're holding back on that.
Yeah, the Patriots punted 6 times. Braxton Berrios only returned 1 out of the 6, and saw a lot of this, right? A lot of fair catch, and I don't need to see that. I need to see him
fair
put
catch,
us in a
down.
not a fair catch. You want to see him grab the ball and run with it. Get some yards there, because unfortunately, the way this offense is right now, and having such a hard time moving the ball, you got to set them up in the best position possible to do so. And that falls on Dan Crossman, the special teams head coach. We mentioned the other mishaps in the first half, the miscues with the punt being blocked, not being able to get off a field goal, and then, yes, not putting yourself in a position to run back some of these punts that have been returnable. And a thing that I want to bring up is Malik Washington. He spent all the preseason, including the preseason games, returning punts. And then all of a sudden, I know he got hurt, but he's back somewhat healthy now. He needs to get the option to do so, because Braxton Berrios just is not stepping up. And Dan Crossman, special teams head coach, needs to share his blame and get this unit right.
We've also seen Tyreek Hill back there, which I don't hate him being back there, but Tyreek's been pretty quiet this season.
Well, he's quiet because Tua's hurt, and so he had a good opening day game, and then Tua went out, and he hasn't been the same. Just the timing's off. There's a big drop off, obviously, from Tua to Skylar Thompson to Tim Boyle.
But if that's the case, yes, he might not have a quarterback to target him 30, 40 yards out, but why wouldn't that be a good reason to put him back there getting these punts and running it? I feel like that'd be a perfect opportunity.
Yeah, but he is your number one receiver, and you're maybe the most dynamic player in the NFL, and you don't want to get him hurt. You don't see a lot of teams doing that. Maybe if it's the playoffs or Super Bowl, where but you don't want, the last thing you need is to have your star player hurt on a punt return or kickoff return. So
talk about injuries, Achane.
Yep, Achane got concussed.
Oh my gosh.
Thankfully, we got a bye week here, but you know how these concussions go. He may have to be in the protocol, and you don't know if he's going to be cleared for our next game against the Colts. But look, we mentioned the guys that stepped up, and that's Raheem Mostert, the veteran, who got 80 tough yards on 19 carries. He did his thing. Yeah. He also caught 2 balls for 18 yards. And then the big guy was Jalen Wright. Mm-hmm. He had 13 carries for 86 yards. He led the team in rushing, and he had 6.6 yards per carry gain there. And he just moved the chains, moved the ball, and you love to see that in your rookie.
One thing about the game that I really enjoyed, despite all the icky stuff that came out of the game, was not having to see Bill Belichick on the sidelines. I thoroughly enjoyed taking in the beautiful scenes of Gillette, and even though our team was struggling and stuff, just not seeing Bill's face on the sideline did bring me some joy.
Yeah, no doubt. That was good to watch. And I want to bring up some other stats. Jonnu Smith finally stepped up. He had a big game with 5 receptions, 62 yards. That was good.
Odell came back, but Odell didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything. Odell didn't really factor
he didn't even know he was there.
Correct. He didn't factor at all, so that was bad. We mentioned Sanders. He missed 1 field goal, but he also connected on 3 big ones. He had a 54-yarder first kick that he made, a 32-yarder, and a 47-yarder, and we needed every one of those kicks to win this game. The defense had 2 sacks, Ogba and Zach Sealer, who's been awesome. Yep. He's been great. We had 5 tackles for a loss. That was big by the defense. So the defense has been doing their job, right? You look at some of these scores, like Buffalo put up a lot of points, but if you'll remember, there were 3 interceptions by Tua in that game, including a pick 6. And the same thing with the Monday night game against the Titans. We had 2 interceptions on that game. And so the defense has, despite what the score tells you, the defense has been doing their job. So credit to Anthony Wheeler and his unit for keeping us in these games.
Yeah, no, and you figure he's still without Bradley Chubb. Obviously, Jalen Phillips. Right. I mean, so
Jalen Phillips is not coming back.
I know. Talking about Jalen Phillips, I did have the pleasure of meeting him again on Monday. I went to the DCC heavy hitter celebration. So great time. They put on a great event for those who raise, X amount of money. And Jalen was there. Jalen looked wonderful. No sign of a brace or anything, but obviously we know his fate is that he will not be coming back this season. But good spirits, like always. Great guy.
No doubt. Put a ball in this game. I'll just say this. Look. Mm-hmm. Take the win, right? Ugly, uneven, whatever it is. At the end of the day, we won the game, right? So you celebrate the win. You feel good about yourself going to the bye week. You take it. Now, I got to hit you with the truth here, though.
Go for it.
We got lucky. All right, we got lucky that we played a team as bad as the Patriots. Let's be real. The Patriots had 12 penalties in this game. 12 penalties. All right, and those 12 penalties went for 106 yards.
Yeah. That's
the length of a football field and 6 yards. So you play against a team who gives up 12 penalties for that many yards, that had a hand in us winning this game. We also got lucky at the end of the game, right?
That late touchdown you're going to talk about where it was the foot. So if you guys know NFL rules, in order for a touchdown to be considered a touchdown, the whole foot. So this guy's had his little toes, but his heel was out. It was on the paint. So they reviewed it and they educated a lot of people.
Thankfully.
Yeah, because it looked really, really bad, meaning bad it was going to be a touchdown. But after the camera redid its thing, it showed that his toes were in, but the heel was out. So no touchdown. Yep. Thanks goodness.
It was Jacoby Brissett hooking up with Jalen Polk. And as you mentioned, thankfully his heel was out of bounds.
Good, man.
They ended up, going for it on fourth down. They didn't get it. We got the ball back, but we were on the, our side of the field. So we punted it back to them. They had one more chance. And guess what? The clock ran out of them. They exhausted all their timeouts in trying to get the ball back. So Jacoby's, trying to make his way downfield. They completed a pass and they couldn't get set up for the last play. So the game ended with the clock running and the Patriots unable to get a playoff. So between having those two chances that we were lucky that they didn't score, and then them having 12 penalties for 106 yards, we got lucky.
Also, what makes us lucky is that earlier that day, Minnesota took care of the Jets, and then the Bills ended up losing to the Texans. So we were the only AFC East team to win that day
for the second week in a row.
Us tremendously in regards to our standings. And then Monday happens, and then we find out that Robert Saleh, head coach of the New York Jets, was let go. And definitely a shocker. I mean, it definitely made waves. So anytime that I feel like, oh man, we got it so bad as a Dolphin fan, I kind of like retune myself and be like, it could be so much worse if we were a Jets fan. So with this firing, very, very interesting, because obviously we know Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback over there in New York, New Jersey. And this is a veteran quarterback. This guy knows how to win. And you could just see the look on his face not week after week, because he's only been with 4 or 5 weeks, he's out all season, but he's just discouraged. And all the memes of the towel on his face and the eye rolling and this and that. So you can't help but wonder if Aaron Rodgers. Now, do you believe Aaron Rodgers had something to do with the firing of head coach Robert Saleh in New York?
So I don't like to think that way, but look, in the NBA, I think LeBron's done it to about 4 or 5 coaches, right? And so he tried to do it to Spoelstra, and Pat Riley said, absolutely not. He's our guy. And thank goodness that didn't work out that way. But there's one particular footage. I don't want to check in the room. I know Kirk's in the room now from Jersey. Hey, Kirk. But you
there's
look
a lot of people in there, and we have Chef Jew.
Chef Jew's in the house.
We have Josephine Ebby from Daytona Beach.
Glad she's okay. She survived.
Kirk from Jersey.
That's right.
We have a lot of viewers as well. It looks like over 100 people currently tuning in from all around.
Perfect. But there's one particular clip where Aaron Rodgers is looking at Saleh, and he acknowledges him with like his hand on his shoulder, but then he turns around and rolls his eyes or something.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know, I don't know what else does. So I would say that Aaron Rodgers made this move happen.
What I also found interesting is that we learned that morning, Saleh actually made a call to have his offensive coordinator fired.
Correct. Well, not fired.
Well, they put in a word saying, "Hey, it's not working out."
Correct. And so, today actually was announced that the intern coach, which is Jeff Ulbrich, he announced that Nathaniel Hackett, who's the offensive coordinator and very close partners with Aaron Rodgers from his Green Bay days, he pretty much is now not calling plays. The new play caller is going to be Todd Downing. He's going to be calling the plays on offense. But a lot of shakeup here. And first of all, 2 things. Number one, Aaron Rodgers had a hand in this, literally. Not that he wanted this move to happen.
Yeah.
The Jets had the ball in London against the Vikings, and they're driving down, last play of the game, pretty much. They're down 23-17, so a touchdown wins the game. And guess what? Rodgers threw an interception. So, he's partly to blame, and fingers to be pointed at should start with him, right? But so it's just crazy to me how this move happens when they're 2-3. The Bills, who are ahead of them in first place, we're 2-3, by the way, as well. Yeah. But the Bills are 3-2 and in first place, and they're playing them on Monday night at home. So I could not believe the timing of this. I mean, you have a home game against a team that you're 1 game behind in first place.
Yeah.
On Monday Night Football, and you're making this move. I question.
They wanted to cut the fat. They didn't want to go any longer. That's all it is. That's all it is.
I get it.
And the thing is, they still have to pay him out. This guy's going to make, I think it's like 20, something with $20,000.
$20,000 a
that's
day.
What I saw,
for the next 2 years is what it turns out to be. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, if he signs up.
Let me put my feet up and watch Lifetime all day. Eat grilled cheese.
Well, look, a guy like Saleh, who I thought he was an all right coach. He got dealt a bad, roster pretty much. Yeah. And then Rodgers gets hurt last year, and he's not off to a good start this year. Let's call it what it is. Rodgers is not playing Aaron Rodgers typical football, but I don't mind Salah, but
I never mind
you know,
him.
and a guy like him, he's a football lifer. He's not going to just take the money. He'll take the money for this season,
Yeah.
but I'm sure if somebody gives
will
him a
pick him up.
contract
Yeah.
next year, he'll go back to work, and at that point they have to negotiate. But the Jets aren't going to pay him for the next 2 years $20,000 a day. That would be crazy.
Yeah, no, definitely. So that was on Monday. And then Tuesday was the official start of our 2024-2025 Florida Panthers season.
Well, can we wrap up the NFL with some games coming up this week really quick?
I'm sorry to go Panthers, but okay. Okay, well, obviously this week the Dolphins are not playing. We are on our bye week. I like an early bye week, especially kind of the icky start that we've had. So I feel like it's a good time to recharge. We're dealing with a lot of injuries. So I'm okay with week 6 bye week?
Yes,
I'm
it's
okay
week 6. I like a later bye week, and just because you want to, refresh and replenish and get healthy if you're injured.
But we're so injured now.
Exactly. And to your point, like I said, I normally prefer a later bye week, but hey, if you're 4-0 or 5-0, you don't mind. But in this particular case, it's coming at a perfect time, right? We got Huntley, who's been here as he's now the quarterback for at least another week. We know that Tua cannot play before he misses 4 games. It's not 4 weeks because that would be this week, but the NFL says it's 4 games. So, Huntley needs to get more reps, make an improvement, which he did from the Tennessee game to this past game. So that's good. You got to get, Achane hopefully back and healthy if he clears protocol. So I'm with you. We'll take the bye week this week and hopefully build on it and get back-to-back wins on the road.
Yeah, so this Sunday, we will not play. Our next game is next week at Lucas Oil Stadium, in which we will be there along with a whole bunch of other Dolphins.
Yes, more on that in a moment.
Yes, we'll get to that. So,
but tonight we got week 6 starts off with
Thursday
night football. NFC West rival. You got the Seahawks hosting the 49ers. There's been some big games. One of your favorites, Richard Sherman, going up against the 49ers, and that's a big rivalry. They're closely situated to each other, and that's going to be a big game tonight to kick off week 6. And then Sunday, another London game. The Jaguars, who are pretty much that's their second home.
They're so loved out there.
Right. Well, they play games there every year.
Super loved.
Their owner made it like that on purpose. They'll be playing a home game out there, if you will, against the Bears. So that should be an exciting game.
But Bears fans travel well, so it'll be a good. And then there are, there's a fan club out there, a UK fan club, the Bears. So although it'll be essentially a home game for the Jags, it'll be a good flock.
They're like
Bears and Jaguars.
They're London's national team, pretty much. Yeah. So some other games I want to highlight. You mentioned that Jacoby Brissett, but he's now,
dropped to the backup.
He dropped to the backup. Yep. Drake May, who was a 3rd overall pick in this past NFL draft, is now going to make his first start against the Texans at home. So
CJ Stroud, man, CJ's a real deal. He took care of the Bills last week.
He did.
I'm scared to play him in December.
Yeah, he helped us out there, but hopefully he regresses by the time we see him next. But that'll be an interesting game. The Colts, you mentioned, our next opponent.
Yeah.
They're banged up, right? Jonathan Taylor, their running back, didn't play this past week. He didn't practice the first 2 days of this week, but we'll see if he's able to play on.
We wanted him to.
Yep, we did. We'll see if he's able to play this Sunday. They're playing the Titans on the road, and then their quarterback, Anthony Richardson, has not been cleared yet, and they're not sure if he's going to be cleared when we play him in 2 weeks here. So
sounds so familiar to our script.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And then Commanders and Ravens. A lot of people Commanders. They're doing
excellent. I'm telling you, they're gonna take care of the Eagles and the Cowboys this year. My money's on the Commanders.
They are looking good. It's amazing. It's amazing what a quarterback, and in this case, Jaden Daniels, can do. He has got that team up and running.
Yeah,
they are the most, in my opinion, the most surprising team in the NFL.
I didn't see that coming. No, I didn't think the Eagles were going to cross. I really thought the Cowboys were going to run with it. But the Eagles and the Cowboys and then the Giants, obviously, we don't even talk about them because they're just – so the Commanders have a great shot to really put their stamp against the Ravens right across the river.
Yeah, that's like the Beltway, Battle of the Beltway, whatever they call it. That's a huge
matchup as well.
Huge matchup. That's a game I'm looking at. And then Lions and Cowboys are also going at it. The Lions are off to a 3-1 start. The Cowboys had a nice win on Sunday Night Football against the Steelers this past Sunday. So, Cowboys and Lions will be a big game. And then the highlight game that we're all going to be watching is that Jets and Bills game on Monday Night Football.
And it's where? It's in Orchard Park?
It is in New York.
Okay.
Jersey. It's in New Jersey at MetLife Stadium. So that's the game that we're all looking for. I hate to say it because when games like this, take place, between division rivals, whether it's the Patriots, the Jets, or the Bills.
Yeah.
People ask me who you're rooting for,
We want to lose.
and I always say a tie, both of them lose, or a sinkhole, right? You don't want to see any of them have successful games, but in this case, you might want the Jets to win because we've already played the Bills and we lost to them, obviously. We still play the Jets twice more, so and it'll help our standing, right? The Bills, who are ahead of us, lose, and we control our own fate against the Colts the following week. We could all be in a three-way tie for first place.
Yeah, so we play the Jets. We play in the first week of December, and then we play in the last week, which is obviously first week of January. So we still have plenty of time before we see the arch nemesis rivals Jets. But it would be good to see them beat up on the Bills, although I have no idea how that would happen. Hopefully, maybe the Robert Salad juice would come out. Aaron Rodgers relives, and it would be a great matchup of two OG quarterbacks, Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers, and battle of quarterbacks that game.
Yeah, it could be now. There's a lot of controversy too with Josh Allen.
He had a concussion. He had the dinosaur hands. You just don't have.
I didn't see the hands, but I did see him take a big hit to the canvas there. He hit the ground pretty hard, his helmet, and then he looked like he fell asleep or took a nap for about 20 seconds.
You get hit like that, man. They don't come like Ben Roethlisberger. They don't make quarterbacks like that anymore. These quarterbacks are built different. Ben Roethlisberger used to take hits from these 300-pound linebacker used to knock him out. He'd be fine. Was there like no concussions back then? It's different.
There wasn't, but it's also different in the size, right? Josh Allen, big bodied guy. He can run you over. So, and then Tua is not that. Tua is a guy that's on the smaller size, and so that's the difference there. But I just think it's hypocritical by the league that a guy takes a hit to the head like that, and he's able to stay in the game, no problem. And then obviously Tua's had numerous instances of this happening, but still, right is right and wrong is wrong. And if a guy takes a shot like that to the head, he should be in that blue tent, and he should be evaluated further. He shouldn't be allowed to continue into the game just like that. So, but we'll see. Who do you think is going to win on Monday night? Who do you got, and what do you?
Obviously, like you said, we want the Jets to win, right? We never want the Jets to win, but we want the Jets to win, right? And it would help us make the Bills kind of squirm and then kind of keep their eye more on us. So we want the Jets to win. Do I think the Jets are going to win? No, but I want them to win. Yeah.
I would say just based on what happened with Josh Allen and the fact that it's kind of new life, it's Monday Night Football. Obviously this same scenario took place last year. Aaron Rodgers didn't make it out of the first possession, out of the first series there. So I think he may have a little bit to say about this game Monday. And maybe if he has a throwback performance, they can take care of business. The Bills haven't looked good out the gate, by the way. They got destroyed by the Ravens. Yes, they beat us, but again, we mentioned, and that game was marred by turnovers on our end. So the Bills haven't looked anything special.
Yeah, let me tell you, this year has been extremely weird because teams like the Ravens, who we thought were going to be stellar, and they're just not. And then obviously the Bills and then Eagles, all these big names that you just thought were going to be great are just subpar. And then you have a team like Minnesota, and I'm not saying anything bad about Minnesota, but Minnesota has Brian Flores, and then look at the track he's kind of taken, and obviously
they also have former Jet quarterback failure Sam Darnold, who couldn't do anything right with the Jets, couldn't do anything with the Carolina Panthers. He ends up there as a refugee. Their starting quarterback goes down, and then next thing you know, Sam Darnold, he had a horrible game, by the way, in London. He only threw for 140 yards.
Who really plays well in London? It's like the time difference.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Like the weather, no one goes out there and breaks records in London.
Weird,
is that fair to say?
Yeah, and everybody's wearing a different jersey. A lot of Dolphin jerseys, by the way, but it's just a weird setup.
It's different, not weird. It's beautiful that they do international games. It's just different.
It's a little different. True.
Just teams like Minnesota and obviously Washington, and then the Chiefs are Chiefs, but teams like I said that you would think would be doing really well aren't, which is fine. It doesn't matter. I care about us, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, you mentioned the Chiefs, and man, they look good out the gate again. And they've had injuries to their running back. Pacheco's gone out. Their number one receiver went out, and they keep on rolling, right? I mean, they keep on rolling. It's scary, man. It's scary with the Chiefs.
So let's talk a little baseball, right? Let's just jump into some baseball. I know we have some baseball fans in the chat. I know we have some Phillies fans. I know we have Yankees, Padres fans in the chat. And Sandy has joined us. Welcome, Sandy. Hello. So this has been a great postseason. Not great because obviously the Dolphins. Sorry, I just said the Dolphins. It has been a great postseason in the sense that not because the Marlins are not in it, which obviously we'd love it, but a team who I don't say we're cheering for, but let me just say, freaking go Mets. Right? To see what they're accomplishing, to beat the Phillies.
Well, Kirk's not going to be happy. Kirk's in the room. He's not going to be happy
just
with that.
Real. You were cheering for the Mets too.
I am.
You know
I'll be honest. I'm just telling him he's not happy about it.
So I personally, right now, if you were to say, Ash, who do you want to see late October? I want to see a Subway Series. Yes, I'm a Jersey girl. We haven't seen a Subway Series since 2001. It's a beautiful thing. It's a big, healthy rivalry. So I want to see the Mets go all the way, even all the way past the Yankees. I do not like the Yankees. So I would like to see a Subway Series. We obviously have some big series that are closing out. We have the Dodgers and the Padres, what has been a dirty series, not even on the field, but obviously there's been a lot of fights. It's obviously a heavy rival. So that finishes up tomorrow. Then we have the Yankees trying to finish business tonight. And then the Yankees Royals, and then we have
the Tigers
and the
what's the score right now?
It's a commercial break.
And
then you have the Tigers and the Indians, Guardians finishing up their series as well. So there's a lot of series that are finishing up.
You get a score.
But at this point right now, I think it's fair to say that you and I have come to a consensus that we want to see the Mets.
Yes, I would like to see the Mets. Also, quick update: the Tigers and Guardians. Tigers and Guardians are tied 2-2 right now in the bottom of the fifth. The Detroit Tigers lead that series 2-1. So should they win tonight, they will win that series. If they don't, you're looking at a game 5 back in Cleveland. Winner take all.
Yeah. And then obviously the Mets are waiting to see who is the winner between the Padres and the Dodgers. That can go either way, right? I mean, Padres on paper are the hottest team, Juan Soto. But no, that really, I'm leaning more Dodgers on that. I mean, both teams are stacked on paper.
That game 5,
it can go anywhere.
Again, you're going to lose some. Sandy's not going to be happy with that, but you got.
I just said Juan Soto. I said, call me. Juan Soto does not play for the Padres.
That's right.
I know.
For the Yankees.
I know. I just caught myself with that. Sorry, I got distracted. Sandy. But no, I feel like that series that's going to be the most heavily watched game. Where do you see that one going? The Dodgers and the Padres.
I'm going to lean to the Padres. The Padres have the better hitting and overall pitching. They got a great bullpen.
Yeah.
The Dodgers pitching is kind of banged up.
Yeah.
They obviously got great hitters, but I'm going to lean to the Padres to finally get over. They have not been able to get that little brother vibe from their Southern California rival in the Dodgers. But I think this is the year that the Padres can finally overcome them.
Do you even feel that despite the type of year that Ohtani's having?
Ohtani's had a tremendous year, but look, he's never played in the postseason before, so this is new to him, and he's never played this long before. He's played obviously in the WBC and World Showcase games, but in Major League Baseball, he's never done it. And we know that in Major League Baseball, it's not like the NBA. One player can't run the show. You get 3 at bats or 4 at bats if you're lucky, and so he's going to be limited. Unfortunately, I just think that the Padres have the better overall. Pitching.
Lineup altogether.
Lineup from 1 to 9.
I agree.
And then also pitching, I think they're set up favorably. So I see the Padres win that game tomorrow. That winner take all.
And then if that's the case, obviously we mentioned the Padres would then head to play the Mets, and that Mets team's just a lot of fun. Obviously led by Pete Alonso, but then Francisco Lindor. I know led by Pete, but then Francisco Lindor comes, hits that dinger. I mean, so Pete and Francisco lead the team, but then you just dissect it even more. Iglesia. Oh my gosh. You guys do not know Iglesia. He's also a reggaeton artist, right? And he has like a song, and it's called OMG, oh my God. And it's the most catchiest song. And then you even go even further. You have Edwin Diaz, who's obviously coming back from the terrible injury that he suffered last year here, literally at Lone Depot Park,
WBC, the
World Baseball Classic. So I just feel like the Mets are more of a Cinderella story.
It's a tremendous story. Now, on the flip side of that, and I know Kirk, cover your ears or tune out if you need to, but look, the Phillies flat out choked. I mean, that talk about a lineup. That lineup is set up to produce 4 or 5 runs a game, and they just could
overrated,
not do
man.
That. No, they're not overrated. They unfortunately, well, no, not every year. They were in the World Series 2 years ago. Last year they weren't able to get it done against the Diamondbacks. They choked pretty much in games 6 and 7 at home at Citizens Bank Ballpark, and they did it against this year. They choked in terms of not being able to produce late in these games here. And so when you have a lineup that stacked and you're only putting 1 or 2 runs on the board, you're not giving your pitching staff a chance to win these games. Ranger Suarez did his job yesterday.
He looked really good.
He
a lot of strikeouts.
He didn't go deep in the game, but he kept them in that game. And then obviously Lindor with that monster grand slam.
Yeah.
But, if the pitching does its part and allows 1 or 2 or 3 runs, you should have enough offense, especially with that lineup, to win those games. And they couldn't get it done.
It was definitely fun to watch that series go the way it did. I don't hate Nick Castellanos. In fact, he's probably one of my favorite players in the whole entire league. But it's just, they beat themselves, and it is what it is. And
left a lot of runners on base and a lot of runs that they didn't put up that cost them. So we'll see. I will say this, though, and I've mentioned this before. Baseball is the longest sport, right? You play all these games. You play from February in spring training. By the time the season rolls around and is over, you've played over 200 games. And if you play in October, you're talking about 220, 230 games if you go to the distance in most of these series. I don't like 5-game series, and I don't like the 3-game series either. I think if you're playing these many games, let them play 7. Let them play 7 because you have a bigger chance and a propensity of these upsets happening by not playing the extra couple games. And I just think baseball is a sport where you got to play a 7-game series. The NBA did it. The NBA went from their 5-game series to 7. I think all games in baseball, all series should be 7 games. Maybe not that first round, the wild card, but even then, either go back to the 1-game playoff and 1 game to sort it out, or play a 5-game series instead of 3. Remember, the Marlins played against the Phillies last year in that wild card round. We're season ticket holders. We didn't get to see a game here. So it's wrong. If you play 81 home games, you should be able to have watch your team play one of those postseason games at home.
We did have a fun watch party at the stadium. I remember
we did, but we didn't get to see postseason baseball. To this date, that stadium.
We're Marlins fans. How often do we see postseason baseball?
And that's exactly my point. That stadium's been open 12 years, and we've never been able to see a postseason game. We finally make it.
Next year, it all changes.
It's not going to change next year. I'll tell you that right now.
Mark his words.
Yeah, it definitely won't. But you should be able to see a postseason game at home. So what I suggest is, take the season back. Back in the day, it used to be 154 games. Make it a 154 game schedule. Take away the 8 games instead of 162. Make it 154, and have all these series go 7 games.
Yeah.
The first round, make it 5. And for the people out there saying, well, then the other team has to wait. Well, that happens all the time. How many times is there a sweep and the other series goes 7 games, and that team's waiting around for 6, 7, 8 days? So this happens. I mean, you can't worry about what another team's doing, the rest versus rust. You got to do what's right here, and just, more games, the better.
Yeah.
I don't like short series. I'm sorry.
Random thought. We realized something last week. Just like a random thought with my birthday. My birthday is in 2 weeks, 14 days. 2 weeks from today, actually. My birthday's in 2 weeks from today.
There you go.
It is. My birthday's in 2 weeks from
today.
today.
I should know that.
You should know that. My birthday's 10/24, and today's 10/10/24. 2 weeks from today. It's on Thursday. My birthday is very unique in the sense that all 4 of my teams could logically be playing on the same day. Hear me out.
That's right.
We're in football season. Dolphins could easily play that day. Basketball season starts that week, so he could play. Panthers could have a game because now it's hockey season. And the Marlins, it's World Series. Could you imagine if okay, I'm talking crazy right now. But you can't say the same about that. Your birthday is late November.
That's right.
Could you imagine if that day ever comes where all 4 of our teams are playing on my birthday?
That would be amazing. That would be incredible.
People can't say that.
Yeah, the biggest one would be baseball, obviously, because you're talking about the sport, winding down and being in the ultimate game. And for that, whenever you get to the playoffs, that's the number one and most important sport of the 4.
Yeah.
If your team happens to be in it, so
but that'd be crazy. Be incredible. There's not many people that could say all 4 of your main teams could literally play on your birthday.
Yeah, that'd be.
But anyways, okay. So moving on. Panthers hockey season has started. We were at opening night, which was on Tuesday, October 8th. On Monday, there was supposed to be a ceremony for the rings where the players got the championship rings. However, they canceled that out of abundance of caution because of the Hurricane Milton, which ended up not hitting us, but they decided not to do that. So that was that case. So Tuesday, we headed up to Sunrise, where we and a a bunch of other
we had
Panthers
group
fans.
tickets for the game, so that was
We
awesome.
had
We
great
were able
seats.
to get some people into the arena and to watch this historic event, which was the Panthers raising their banner, their championship, the 2023-2024 Stanley Cup championship banner. I mean, it was really an incredible night.
So what's interesting about this is that it was obviously televised. ESPN covered this, and it said 7:00. So we all had like this big question mark. We were like, okay, 7:00. Is that puck drop at 7:00? Meaning they're going to do the banner earlier, or is that when they're doing the banner? So no one had the answer. So this went on for like a good few hours before that. We're trying to figure out like, what is the deal? So then we finally realized that it was the banner that was going to be dropped at 7, and then puck drop was 7:25. So we get to Amerant Bank Arena. It's obviously where our Florida Panthers play, and it's nasty. It's not raining, but you could definitely tell that the storm is brewing.
Yeah.
And people are excited, right? There was very, 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 very few Boston Bruin fans. We had 2 in our row, but they were pretty cool guys. But beyond that, usually with any Boston sport, they travel. And not even that they travel, they just are all over.
Yeah, there was some there. I mean,
very few, though.
Yeah.
It was probably the least Boston matchup attendee with Boston fans that I've ever seen. You go to Kaseya Center when we play the Celtics. They show up like cockroaches there. Yeah. So this was very lightly attended by Bruins fans.
Yeah.
So we go in and we start walking, and we know that they are giving away scarves. Ford.
Yeah, I have that here.
Yeah, Ford is a big sponsor of the Florida Panthers. And they were giving away these amazing, amazing, amazing scarves. Great quality. So we ended up getting our scarves. Yeah, you got it.
Cool scarf here. It says
this
Champions.
Is Champions. You flip it over.
2024.
Florida Panthers.
Florida Panthers, and it's got the logo there.
Champions.
Championship logo. So
we got that.
I'm actually going to wear this the remainder of the show here.
Go ahead.
So.
Okay, so they had Panthers. That. And then, excuse me. And then they had a replica ring, but not a replica ring. They had
pictures. You got pictures.
So they had a replica ring, but it was the size of like a 10-year-old. So they had a security guard there the whole time, so you don't like do anything crazy with it. Here, let me pull up these pictures.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying, "Hey, don't stand on top of it." So,
because if you stand on top of it, you're gonna collapse. No offense, but like, you know,
what are you saying?
I'm not saying anything.
I've dropped some weight here, at least recently.
Okay.
Let me know when you're showing it. You got it up.
Okay, so this was our seat. This is a view from our seats. We had great seats.
This is the national anthem, obviously, and to me, I took this picture, and what I love about it is that the American flag is there, and up in the distance ahead is that Stanley Cup championship banner, which will show it being unveiled. But it was pretty awesome how you're looking up, and obviously the national anthem is very near and dear to our hearts. We always, love to see.
So you talk about the national anthem. Yeah. One thing that you didn't know that I was just showing the moment is the same girl that sung the national anthem. Her name is Bella Denton, and she's actually a Miami Dolphins cheerleader, and she sung the national anthem for the home opener for the Dolphins.
Oh, so she's
she's
good luck.
She's good luck. No, she's a huge South Florida sports fan, so she was the one who actually opened up for the national anthem.
That's us. That's us there at the game. We're really excited. That's after one of the goals there.
We're super excited. We got our friends in front of us.
Fredo's there, and we're having fun. This is Josh Moser, of course,
a buddy of ours,
Channel 7 sports anchor there, the lead sports caster for Channel 7, does a great job. And
excellent job.
We were able to meet up with him, so that was awesome. That's the banner.
Well, I didn't see this picture.
Yeah, we're up there. We're up there looking at that banner. That's the ring.
This is the ring that we were talking about. Yeah, so this is the ring that I don't know if it's going to be there all season. I can't imagine it because it was definitely an attention grabber, and they had no control over the line.
Oh, it's
but
huge.
You are able to take a picture with this ring. It's a really great photo op. That's us and the family. We're gonna put it on the Christmas card. So stay tuned.
There she is. There's that banner. I mean, come on. It's just chills looking at this again. I mean, this is what you go to games for. I mean, and if you think about the percentage of times that you get to see this happen, I mean, really, every team that has played for any amount of time, if you look at the percentages, let's say a team like even the Yankees, right? They played for 100 and some years. Yeah, they got 27 world championships. All right, but if you think about it, 27 out of 100 plus years is not the greatest of percentages. So, and that's the best, by the way. That's the number one team who's won the most, titles.
Yeah.
Right. So, and this was our first, for the Panthers. whenever
It
you
was
get a
great. It was beautiful.
whenever you get a moment to open up the season on opening night, and you know that they're going to acknowledge and raise the banner and show that, it's really a touching moment.
It was special.
We had
People brought to tears.
people were crying. People were like, "Wow, this thing's going up! What a moment!" You know, the seasons are long, the playoffs are long, so much goes into it, and when you could see that moment is pretty incredible. I also want to mention that the team captain Alexander Barkov, Barky as we call him, there was a special moment with the PA announcer because unlike other sports, there's no replica trophy. I'm not sure. Did you even know this? There's no replica trophy for the Stanley Cup.
No, it's the same. They reuse it. I know that.
So no, but I'm saying because you could go down to Hard Rock Stadium, you can go to Lone Depot Park, you can go to the Kaseya Center here, and the Heat, the Dolphins, and the Marlins all have replica trophies where you could see, oh, that's the they get the trophy, they get to keep the trophy at all time. They make a trophy and it gets given to the team,
gifted,
gifted to the team. The Stanley Cup does not do that.
No,
the NHL retains the trophy. They add the team
you get
name,
the title of it, and
that's it. And so there was a very touching moment after the banner was raised, where Sasha Barkov, Barky, the team captain, pretty much got the trophy. He called the team over, and they took one last picture with it, and then he turned it over to the handler. There's a specific guy that handles the trophy, goes wherever that trophy goes, he goes with it. He's assigned to it. He's got his white gloves on, the famous white gloves that he saves after every Stanley Cup final, and it was turned back to him, and that's it. You won't see that trophy again. There's no mention made of the Panthers currently holding the trophy.
It's done over.
It's done over. We're still defending champs, but the trophy is no longer in our possession. So that was a pretty exciting moment.
It was, and obviously for those who were not there, it was broadcasted live on ESPN. So many people enjoyed it. The game, we won the game. Heavy scoring game.
Yep.
Ended up scoring 6 goals. Most of our goals came early on, and they were quick and they're fast. We just looked hungry from the get-go. We have a lot of new players on the team. Obviously still missing Ryan Lombard.
We lost Montour too. Brandon Montour was great.
So a lot of new names, but then guys who we love, and like Erod, and
he scored a goal. Sam Bennett,
Matthew Tkachuk, and Bob looked fantastic. So you still got your OGs who we're still on Stanley Cup mode, but there's a lot of new guys who are drinking the Kool-Aid and part of the squad now.
Yeah, no doubt. Sam Bennett led the way with 2 goals. You mentioned Erod; he had a goal. Sam Reinhart also added a goal. Bob had 24 saves in the game. It looks bad because he gave up 2 goals at the end, but we were up 6-2. And so those 2 goals were kind of like, make-up goals at the end. I do want to mention that the Bruins started their backup goalie.
Because their main goalie he didn't sign a contract, and that's no one's problem but his, that he could have been the starting goalie. And then that's why the chant broke out like it did.
Yeah, Jeremy Swayman is a regular goalie, obviously has been playing in this rivalry for a long time. I'll get to that in a second, but he wasn't there, so that has to be pointed out. But the crowd was chanting, "We want Swayman." That was pretty.
Wanted a better game.
That was pretty cool. But no, yeah, look, the Panthers took it to them, 4 goals in the first period, and never looked back after that.
Yeah.
Bob gave up 4 goals, but again, 2 of those were kind of in garbage time. So just an awesome
dirty game too. I heard a thing that the Bruins
4 fights.
The Bruins guys made a bet who's going to knock out Matthew Tkachuk first.
Yeah, they were targeting Tkachuk all night, and there were 4 fights all together. All of them involved Tkachuk, and so they were definitely getting after him. I mentioned this is a big time rivalry, and it doesn't get bigger than this. Are you ready for this stat? So both these teams the last 2 years, including in the playoffs, have met 22 times. Wow. 22 times they've met in playoffs and regular season. That's a lot over 2 games, over 2 years, I should say. Their record, even after this past Tuesday, 11-11.
Split.
So split down the middle. I'll give you one better. The amount of goals scored after Tuesday night between both teams, identical. Panthers have scored 74 goals. The Bruins have scored 74 goals. Yeah. So it doesn't get bigger than this kind of a rivalry. And, it doesn't get more even than that, right? So it's crazy.
And we're going to see a lot of them throughout the season. There's a lot of Boston matchups. Obviously, we play the Patriots again. We have the Celtics coming to town a million more times.
That's right.
So
I love the fact that we beat the Patriots on Sunday, and then we beat another Boston team 2 days later. That was awesome. You want to show the giveaway that they had?
Yeah.
So everybody who entered the arena this night on Tuesday night got this. We'll roll it up so you can show them.
I was gonna
unveil
lift
it
it from the back.
oh
Rafters.
okay all right
Excuse me.
all right sorry
I was gonna lift it from the rafters.
got some music dun, 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 dun.
No, you didn't get what I was doing.
There it is. Do it here. Do it here. Do it closer.
I was literally unrailing from the rafters.
Closer.
Let me take the prop and let me do it myself.
Right. There it is. She's going back up top. That's awesome. I mean, what a cool giveaway. It came in this little bag here and it was rolled up and you can hang it. It's got a little, well, don't unroll it one more time. It's got this little thing up top that you could, no, don't do it like that. It's not a flag. It's a banner. But yeah, no, it's got this thing that you could hang it up somewhere. So yeah, I mean, this is a really cool giveaway. I mean, it looks identical as to the one that's hanging up, and so that's pretty awesome. Great giveaway.
I agree. So Panthers ended up winning that game. It was great. We had a great time. Got home late.
Yeah.
And so it was fantastic. Yeah. So as mentioned before, Dolphins are on a bye week, so there will be no Dolphins football this Sunday. So we cannot be disappointed. Our next home game is in 2 weeks against Arizona. Our next game is next Sunday in Indianapolis against the Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium. We will be there. And so a little bit on that trip, as mentioned before, we will be flying out. This time next week, we'll be boarding the plane because we have a late flight with the last flight out. And so we get there, and this is like one of our first Finvasion trips. We're super excited about it. So thank you to everyone who has supported 305 Sports Travel. We're very, very excited that this trip has shaped to be amazing. We wish the team was doing a little better, but we're having a great time.
We're coming off a win. We're coming off a win. So
a few little things about the trip. We have our Fins Fans Social on Saturday from 2 to 4. It is a ticketed event. So if you do want to come, it is open bar, but you do need to get a ticket. The tickets are still available. Very, very few tickets are left. And then on Sunday, we have our Finvasion tailgate from 10:30 to 12:30. We have an amazing buffet menu, drinks at Tavern on South. Again, another ticketed event. So you have to get your ticket ahead of time. And the Big O show, he will be broadcasting live
pre-game and post-game. Yeah, awesome.
So really looking forward to that. And there are tons of Dolphin fans coming to Indy for this game. There's a lot in the Midwest, but then we have people who are in our group coming from California, from Massachusetts. I mean, the list is just UK, Mexico, Canada. So I think it's going to be a great takeover, and I really look forward to seeing everybody out there. And it's going to be fantastic.
We got some. We actually just packed one of the suitcases. We got a bunch
people
of
don't believe that you said that you're a guy. You don't pack.
You did it. I just helped you. But we got door prizes for everybody coming out on Saturday, and for those that got the hotels with us, we got a nice little welcome baskets for you. Okay, sorry. We got some nice stuff happening and a lot of good info to come, and we are looking forward to it. I'm excited to see Lucas Oil Stadium. Right? I mean,
they actually built a pool in there for the Olympics.
That's right.
Gonna be,
yeah. I think they're building.
They're going to build a huge Olympic-sized pool in there. So
it's hosted Super Bowls, hosted Final Fours.
The Catholic Convention. I mean, it's hosted everything.
Yeah, Taylor Swift was there recently, so it's a big venue. The structure is beautiful.
Great seats.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time.
Walkable from our hotel, the hotel block where we have a hotel.
Right there.
It's right there. We're going to eat well at St. Elmo's. There's the NCAA museum that we're going to check out. So there's a lot. There's a lot of cool things in a small city like Indianapolis that we're going to check out. And guys, if you are not subscribed to the website, go to 305sportstravel.com
see all the info
and subscribe, because we send out newsletters that we're going to be sending out one within the next few days that'll have all tips and tricks about Indianapolis. So places where, did you make your reservation at St. Elmo's Steakhouse, one of the best steakhouses? And we found, different restaurants and different things to do. So we do the research so you don't have to. You guys see when we go to trips, we do everything we can.
Yeah,
so
a lot.
We definitely don't miss a beat. And we definitely don't want you guys going to a city and missing some cool things. So subscribe to the website and you will definitely find out everything going on in Indianapolis.
Yep. And go on also, and when you get a moment, like this show tonight and subscribe if you haven't done so already. So hit that like button. And we can't wait to catch up with you guys next week. Enjoy the bye week. And just get ready to get back at it in 2 weeks here. Hopefully get back to 500 with another road win in Indianapolis would be awesome.
That would be fun, guys. Again, before we go, as we
sorry, one more thing. Sorry. Do you want to mention that the Canes are also on a bye week this week? They next take the field in Louisville. That's in 2 weeks. But the Canes, with their win last week and all the mumbo jumbo that happened in the top 10, the Canes moved up from number 8 to number 6. So that's huge. The Hurricanes are are well on their
Alabama
way.
dropped. Always good to see. Or dropped the other way.
They dropped back after losing to Vanderbilt. But look, with a 12-team playoff, if you're number 6, you don't have to learn how to do math to know that you're in the playoffs right now. The season were to end, so they have a great opportunity. So go Canes.
College basketball's going to be starting soon too, so that'll be another thing exciting to see as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was going to say. I do know what I was going to say. I was going to revert back to where we started with the show. And again, for those who did not see the beginning of the show, obviously we started off by talking about Hurricane Milton. Us people in South Florida, for the most part, we were spared completely by this storm. We had crazy winds yesterday, but we didn't even lose power. Some people close to us did, but we did not lose power, so we were lucky. It didn't even rain. But we do know the destruction that this storm did leave. Awful. So our thoughts and our prayers are obviously with everybody in our state of Florida who have been affected by this storm. This was a massive storm, and hopefully this is done and over with this season. As you know, it's been quiet, but then the storms that we have been like crazy.
Yeah.
So it's not about quantity, because we haven't had many, but it's about the quality of storms we've had, and we've had beast storms. So hopefully
we need a break. We need a break, and hopefully no more as we wind down hurricane season.
Hopefully the only hurricanes we're talking about are these.
Yeah, those are the only good ones in our book. So.
Definitely. All right, guys. Well, it has been fun. Some postseason baseball going on, so definitely enjoy October baseball. It is hot and heavy. And see you guys next week.
Yep. Stay safe out there and have a great rest of your week and weekend ahead. Peace.